Welcome to Just Relationships, the show that offers you concrete ways to make your relationships better. Whether it's your boss, your spouse, your children, or your friends, the quality of your relationships in life directly affects how you feel about yourself and the success you achieve. Your host, Dr. Duffy Spencer, a psychotherapist, telecoach, author, and seminar leader, will interview top experts to help you learn to manage this essential part of your life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Duffy Spencer.
Greetings to you. Again, it's about love. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. We all need love. We need love like we need oxygen. And yet, why is it so elusive? Why do so many people feel so unloved and so lonely? So if you tuned into last week's program, you will know that Dr. Brenda Shoshanna, this is part 2 of my series with her. Her book is entitled The Unshakable Road to Love, Value-Centered Relationships. And for Dr. Brenda Shoshanna, love is a reservoir for us. We all are loving beings. And what we were exploring last week was, how do we not have it? How do we not know we have it? How do we not feel it? And how do we access it? How do we reclaim our naturally loving selves? We need a whole different headset, mindset, whatever you want to call it. What would you call it, Dr. Brenda Shoshanna?
I love the way you said, by the way, reclaim our naturally loving selves. I love that. That's beautifully put. What would I call it? I would call it who we are. We're swimming in an ocean. You know, there's a Zen saying, the fish are thirsty while swimming in the water. Just like us. We're swimming in it and we're thirsty and we're looking for it everywhere else and we're gulping. But here we are, we're swimming in love. And that's a beautiful Zen saying. The fish are swimming in the water and they're thirsty and they don't know, and they're looking for something wet. And that's the way we live.
So the spouse who doesn't feel love from their partner, they don't have a felt sense of being loved from their partner. They are received with what Gottman would call the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The destroyers of love relationships, condescending, stonewalling, criticizing, and defending. And they're so furious. And as you said last week, and I'm thinking about what Jerry Jampolsky and what's said in the Course of Miracles, you can't have love and fear at the same time. Love is letting go of fear. So I don't know if that's your language. I mean, the question would be, how do you let go of fear? Let's say you love someone, you love them, you married them, and you are in what Harville Hendricks from Theory of Imago Relationships would say, you move from the honeymoon stage into the power struggle stage. So you're in the power struggle stage, and you're so tied up inside your body. Your heart feels closed. You're shut down. And yet you love this person and they love you and you don't want to divorce them. So where do you start?
Wonderful. Let's start. That these questions are so important and so many people are suffering so much. And what I really want to start today is by differentiating between real love and counterfeit love. Mm-hmm. Because real love never hurts. Never. If you're in pain, you're not experiencing love. As you said, there's power struggles, dependency, attachment. We confuse that for love, dominating someone or getting all our needs met. Oh, he makes me so happy. That's not love. So that's not love. That is confusing approval for love. Approval is an addiction. Wanting to get all our needs met is an addiction. Actually, that is using another person as an object to meet your needs. And that's one of the pillars of love. If you're using someone else to meet your needs, that's not love. That's a transaction. I'll give you this, you give me that. You fill me up. Fill me up with love. Let me tell you, no one can fill you up with love. Nobody.
Yes.
It's impossible. First of all, we block out the love if we don't feel worthy of it. Second of all, you have to be in a state of real love to feel filled up with love.
Okay.
That is what's going to fill you with love. No other person will. And they might for a little while, oh, I feel happy, I feel good. Feeling happy and good is not love necessarily. It's just a passing state.
So
And
how do we get to a state of real love when we feel hurt and angry with our love partner?
Okay, because first of all, realize it's not you don't feel hurt and angry with your love partner. You're hurt and angry, period, because you're not getting your needs met.
Okay.
And so you have to, one of the ways to get to a different state of mind is very important to realize that this is not love, to differentiate between what is love. Because when you are in a state of love, you will not be hurt, no matter what anybody does, because the way a person behaves is not what's going to create happiness or unhappiness. It's your reaction to it. It's the way you perceive it that's going to make you happy or feel full of love or unhappy. It's not what's going on outside. It's your response and your perception. And you can always take charge of how you're seeing the situation and of how you're responding to it. You have that power to take charge of how you're going to perceive this and how you're going to respond.
I'm thinking about what Lincoln said. Did he call it higher angels or better angels? He said something about appeal to your higher angels, be in that state. And if Lincoln hadn't been murdered, our America would be very, very different, because he was a constructionist. He was a healer. He would have helped heal our nation after that Civil War.
And we can all heal this nation. The thing is, we have a huge, which is another reason I was forced to do the book from within myself, because the power of love is enormous. We think, what can I do? There's such a mess in the relationships, although Dr. Duffy's been doing a lot over the years, God bless. But I want to say the power of truth and of love is enormous. And when we unleash it, and when we choose to be loving rather than loved, as I say, one of the pillars of love in the book, to be happy, you don't have to be loved. You have to be loving, and you have to learn what that means. Because as soon as you're feeling loving, you're happy. Let me tell you, you feel wonderful. You feel good about yourself. You respect yourself. You feel good. And you're also giving so much to somebody else, including everybody, the doorman, the person online in the grocery. You're viewing everybody, not just your marriage or love partner. You're sharing that love. It happens inevitably when you are in a state of being loving. And I do believe, in fact, I know that if just a bunch of people, a number of people would really choose to do this fully, I'm sure that we could heal so much everywhere, physically, governmentally, everywhere, because love is stronger than anything else.
Yes, yes.
Light is the light is much stronger than darkness. What you need is a little light to evaporate the darkness in a relationship and in the world too.
Oh, I like that. Just a little light.
That's all you need. The minute you put a little light in the room, where's the darkness? Gone.
This little light of mine, right? This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm thinking about in the 12-step program of recovery from all kinds of addictions, there are exercises like if there's someone that you really hate or you have an awful relationship with, pray for them.
That's exactly what we're doing here, a different form.
Pray for their healing. Pray for them having the best for themselves in their life, even though they have deprived you of even respect and consideration.
But
and you just go ahead and do that.
Let me say something. You don't need this respect or consideration from anyone. When you can let that go, looking for it from someone else, wow. Do you know what a relief that is? And you know how much respect you're going to feel for yourself when you're really being loving? Because you're going to say, oh, my goodness, I'm giving so much to life. And that's what gives us a sense of self-worth and self-respect and meaning. We don't give to get in this program. We just give. And then it's called Musho Toku. And what that means, and it's really beautiful, I think it will help a lot. Musho Toku means just do it and forget the outcome. Forget the consequences. Don't do it because you want something in return, because you'll always be disappointed. And it's also not true giving. That's more like a transaction. You give me this, I'll give you that. That's like shopping in the store. Again, it's making someone an object to meet your needs. Forget about having anyone else meet your needs, because I tell you the truth. When you stand in real love, that will meet all your needs. That's all we need, is to be filled with real love. What else do we need? Of course, we'll get the different things. Friends will come, objects will come. Of course, doesn't mean we're going to be a monk somewhere. But I mean, the world is filled. The world is filled with goodies, and nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But of course, they will come from the source that they're supposed to come from. But we're not going to say, you have to give me that love. You have to give me that respect.
I want you to know, Dr. Brenda, that I really do get it, and I agree. And you talk about just doing it, and I think in terms of being detached from the outcome. And detachment, people think it's about separating. It's not about separating. No. Detachment is about doing your best, your loving best, and then detaching from whatever outcome there is from that.
And you're going to get so much happiness from just doing it that way.
Yeah.
In Musho Toku, they say giving is and receiving are one. When you give with a full heart and not a little secret, I want this back, that's going to make you so happy, rather than giving and looking for a return. So you know who's going to win from this? You will.
Yeah.
When you see that you're the winner and you're the one who gains from all of these different practices, you'll be hungry to do them. You'll say, yay.
So Musho Toku, how do you spell that, and where does
Musho Toku? Musho, Mushotoku. It means, and this is a very big part of Zen practice, to give fully, with a full heart, but not looking for something in return. So just the giving itself is such a joy. It's from a pure place. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to get a lot in return. You will. However, the biggest thing you're going to get is the joy of giving, because giving itself is so joyful. But it isn't if we say, oh, look at that. Look how much I gave them. They didn't give me back what I needed. Now, if I was, as you know, Duffy, I was Dr. Duffy, a therapist for many years. I heard this 5,000 times over and over. I gave and gave, and I didn't get anything back. And disappointment. But from this perspective, that's not giving.
Mm-hmm.
Almost manipulating, or it's using someone.
Yeah.
See, this is a radical perspective. I only speak it in a radical way because we have to speak it in a very strong way into the confusion that we live in.
Again, St. Francis said, seek to love rather than be loved, seek to forgive rather than be forgiven. We know all this. And I am thinking about, say you have a client or a patient come in who says, I did everything I could to be loving all of these years, and I'm still met with disdain and coldness and criticism. And I feel so bereft about it because I want a connection with this person.
Yes, but if you're filled with love, number one, you gave all the loving and you try so much to get the connection back with the person. That's giving for a purpose. The thing you need to be connected with is with love and with yourself. That person may or may not be able to even connect with you. Their disdain is their issue. It's not yours. It doesn't say a thing about who you are. We personalize it. We take it in and we demand that that person connect with us. In this practice, we let go and we allow whoever wants to connect and who doesn't know. But you will never feel bereft if you're filled with real love. I actually can promise you that. I can promise you that because you feel so filled up and it doesn't really, if somebody's reacting to you with disdain and you're filled with love, you might feel sad for them, but you're not going to demand that they be someone they're not. That's one of our exercises, by the way. We say quietly to each person in our mind, I grant you the right to be who you are.
Yes.
That's an act of love. That is an act of love. How beautiful that is. I grant you the right to be who you are. And when someone really allows you in their heart and to be who you are, not want to change you, fix you, get something from you, you feel so loved by that person. So we have in the book acts of love, not what we think they are. Again, more like real love rather than counterfeit love. And it works. Also, even if that person doesn't want to connect with you, they'll feel so good, and so will you. So will you. And believe me, when you're in that state, many people who will want to connect with you, who are in the same vibration, who want to receive real love and want to give it as well.
Yeah, and you say that love is not a feeling.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
That's beautiful. Here's another great poem from Rumi. I love all these different teachings so much. A feeling, listen to this, it's so beautiful. A feeling that is here 1 minute and gone the next cannot be called love. How beautiful is that? Feelings are transient. That's their nature. They're like the wind, like the clouds in the sky. One feeling will come, then it goes. It's meant to. Another feeling will come and then it leaves again. And we think, oh, I feel this and I feel that. I love them so much. Where did the love go? It didn't go anywhere. It wasn't love. It was just a feeling. So if we're basing our life on feelings that are transient, we're going to be very hurt and very disappointed because 1 minute we'll feel good, 1 minute we'll feel horrible. But that's not what love is. Love is not a feeling that comes and goes. Somebody said to me once, they loved me so much in the beginning, and I loved them. And then it all went away. Where did the love go? And I said, it didn't go anywhere because it wasn't love. It was just feelings. Feelings, I'm not saying feelings aren't beautiful sometimes, but we feel them all. Feel them, don't repress them, don't hide from them. Feel them, but just know what they are. They're just feelings. They're going to come, they're going to go.
So, Dr. Brenda, if love is not a feeling that comes and goes, what is love?
Love is a way of being with others. It's revealed in actions, deeds of love. It's a way of perceiving others. It's a decision. It's a choice.
Okay.
And we can all make that choice. And it's a practice. I would say love is a practice. Like going to the gym. We're practicing the muscles of love. The other day I had an encounter and then went back to my book. I said, oh my goodness, I better practice this book more. I wrote it because I need it too. We all need it. We forget our automatic reactions come up. We can get very sad. I said, if I'm very sad about someone, I said, well, look in here. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I said, oh my God, I'm using that person as an object to meet my needs. I'm not there just to give without getting to them. And as soon as I turned it around, whoa, I felt so much better right away. And then I began doing some of the practices in the book, one of which is, how may I serve you? To myself, I said that. And to them too. It is counterintuitive. It's not how we've been trained. It's like swimming against the tide. And that's why I say it is a practice, because we have to keep reminding ourselves and do it even, what's good? Get a partner in this book
Mhm.
and remind each other and laugh together and go over how it went for
Yeah.
you.
And of course, what you're talking about, as you say, the great leaders of the world the thought leaders have talked about this, the idea of what Eric Fromm wrote in The Art of Loving, the same thing. It's a practice. It's a decision. Now I'm thinking about what Masters and Johnson wrote in their book, The Pleasure Bond. And they said that, sex partners who are thinking only of giving their partner sexual pleasure lose out, that they have to be aware of their own bodies, their own sensual selves,
Right.
and seek to find the sexual pleasure for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And in so doing, the other partner is pleased as well. So what's your take on that?
Well, that's exactly true, because we have to, we don't, when somebody seems nasty or ungiving or whatever, don't focus on them. Focus on your own state of mind. How loving are you? Forget about what's going on in them, because as soon as you return to love, and I love that phrase, return
Okay.
to love, because that's who we are, and
Yeah.
and you become loving, and you sense your own need for love, and you look within. Don't dwell on them or making them feel better in the interaction. You just become loving. You'll feel wonderful, and of course they will too. So that's exactly true. We focus on other people and we try to make them feel this or feel that. And then we think, oh, then they'll love me if I give them enough pleasure sexually or whatever else we're doing. Again, that's not actually helpful, because it's just, then you think they'll respond in kind and you'll get what you need from them. You're not going to get what you need from them. You're going to get what you need from your own inner responses, if it's sexual pleasure or if it's love, the feelings of love. And they're not, sexual pleasure and love are not different either. It's fine. There's no judgments here. When you come into a place of being truly loving, your sexual relationships will express that love as well, along with the pleasure. Nothing wrong with pleasure.
Nothing
When
wrong
it's done in a loving context, it's a beautiful thing. So you give others pleasure by having pleasure, and you give others love by you being loving.
So when we haven't received the kind of love that we needed as children to become whole, and here we are adults caught up with all of these counterfeit beliefs, etc., and we have to do a U-turn, right? We have to turn it around. We have to be willing to give ourselves compassion and love, self-compassion. And I know Zen Buddhism talks a lot about self-compassion.
Just doing Zazen, just sitting. Oh my goodness. I've been doing it maybe over 45 years now. There is, I don't know if I'd be alive today without that practice. It is such a profound way for me, not everyone, but of nourishing oneself. And what do you do then? One of the things I always loved in the Zendo so much, when you go in, nobody looks at each other. You don't talk to each other while you're in the process. You sit beside one another, and sometimes 7-day retreats and so forth. You don't say a word to the other person. You're working with your own Zazen hour after hour, and yet, the connection, the love between people is profound. The feeling of support from others just there practicing alongside you you never, those relationships are forever. And at the end of a 7-day session, sitting in the silence, not only do you know everything about your partner, but it's unconditional what goes on between you. So it's not, what did you give me? What did you say? What did you do? It's the spirit that comes out, and the self-nourishment and working on yourself.
So Dr. Brenda, what do you think about the concept of self-parenting?
The same thing. It's the same thing. I don't know anybody who got the love they need from their parents,
Mhm.
whatever that means. And even if they had a more healthy or functional family, I don't see that many whole people because because we can't get what we need from someone else. The way we get it is if they give us an example of finding it within. But usually a lot of dependence arises, a lot of attachment, all different kinds of things arise. I think that all through life, it's a question of self-parenting. It's a
Right.
question of, we call it developing the parental mind. That's one of the phrases in Zen. That's Uchiyama Roshi. The parental mind is the mind that only wants to give, to take care, to nurture, to nourish. And we must, if we can't nourish ourselves, we can't nourish anyone else.
And
It's just,
there's no one more truly altruistic than a parent, than
absolutely,
a good parent.
absolutely.
So altruistic. They actually use that term parental. They don't use the term nurturing, or they
Well,
use
but we don't lean too much on words and terms.
right. Yes.
There are haiku poems, different little words. But this one teacher, Uchiyama Roshi, he does use the term develop the parental mind, or he said taking care of the world, taking care of yourself. You nurture the whole world because you are the whole world, and it's just a big illusion to try to go out there and fix the world. If you fix yourself, and I don't mean fix, I mean nurture, because I don't mean to reject
Oh,
any
yeah.
part. There's no fixing here. There's nurturing. There's sitting. When you sit in Zazen, you sit really in deep love, though people don't call it that, but I do. And it's wordless, it's unqualified, and it's available for every single person who sits down on the cushion. There's no such thing as smart, stupid, young, educated, old, race, nothing. You just sit down. The universe nurtures and loves every being. And that's our job too.
And
once we experience that, we do that too.
yeah.
That's why I say natural. Zen practice is very natural.
Yes.
It's just natural. We breathe. We just do simple things. We breathe.
So, Dr. Brenda Shoshanna, unfortunately, our two-part series is over. I wish I could talk to you forever. So if you want to continue talking to Dr. Brenda Shoshanna, talk to her through her book, reading her book, The Unshakable Road to Love, Value-Centered Relationships. I value love. I value giving love. Dr. Brenda Shoshanna, Shoshanna. Thank you so much, Dr. Brenda Shoshanna. And this is Dr. Duffy Spencer saying goodbye for now and wishing you great relationships.